Hello, guys. I'm George Gonzalez, and I'm obsessed with making games. Today, we are going to talk about banning players in your game. How do you do that? Specifically with Playfab, and I'm going to show you how to use that in Unity. But anywhere you can use Playfab, you can use this script. It's super, super, super simple. So let's try to do it as quickly as possible. Here's my game. We're going to show you how to connect from your game to Playfab and how to do that. I have this empty test project. You go to automation, revisions. And this is called legacy because Playfab has been bought up by Microsoft. They want you to use Azure functions, and so you can use Amazon stuff if you want. This is enough. You can use, I use Cloud Script still. So in here we have a call called ban hammer. You can call it whatever you want in here. This is whatever you want. That's the name of the function. So I guess I could just say name of function, because sometimes people copy paste, but I want you to understand what's going on. Okay, so we have arguments, and I have an arguments in here because I want you to, in case you want more flexibility with the bans. So in this case, let's say we have something called ban report, and someone's getting reported, and it stacks up. And then after 2 ban reports, meaning when they get to the 3rd one or more, they'll get banned. And this ban is for live. And then you have a ban reason, and and you'll have this, and you'll be able to test this. So when you go in here in Playfab, and I have 1 player in here, if you need to test it, you can go in here and ban people by here, and it's the same idea: reason and then ban permanently. If you wanna not do it permanently, you can, but for the sake of simplicity, we just want to ban people. If you want to get into it, you can look at the documentation or try to figure out how to do the specifics, or you can ask and I'll do another video with more specifics. But for now, let's just stay simple, right? You want to get it done, it works. Okay, you don't even need this, but let's say you just need this server.ban users, and then the ban, the ID. And the idea is that this call is basically banning the player that made this call. So the reason why I do this is because I don't want to have a server call where I can ban random people, because this is very severe and it will ban someone. And so you don't want someone being able to ban multiple people. The way I do it, and I like to do it, is basically everyone bans themselves. And how does that happen? Well, we take care of that code in the game. And so just like you say, oh, I hate you. Well, I say, hey, I banned you. And then you call ban yourself. There's still possible exploits. There's always the possibility of exploits. But I like doing it this way so it doesn't give direct access to people, especially if someone hacked the game. I don't want to give them access to an API that they could ban anyone they want as long as they know their IP address. I mean, their player ID. Okay. So in here, we just say, hey, ban me. And here's the reason. You can do whatever you want in here. But later on, and I'll do another video on it if you guys want, when you log into Playfab, you can display the reason for being banned. And so that way you can display and say, hey, you've been banned because of this. If you like to appeal your ban, go to Discord. So that's another thing that we'll do another day. But for now, this is it. Now let's go to the game. So in here, I have the game. I have what is called a Playfab handler. You can do whatever you want. You can do this in a different script. I'll show you in here. Let's say you have a different script that says on trigger enter, and it says, okay, we have a logic like a ban hammer, and you hit somebody. The only person that would have that hammer would be you. In here, you have to make sure you're using Playfab and client models. As long as you have those 2, you can do this. And what's going to happen is in here, like I showed you, you can do on trigger enter. And then you can have this private function so that someone doesn't have access to it. And this is just a total ban. So you would apply the logic, or you don't have to have this. But the idea with this is I wanted to show you at least some parameters that you can use to adjust if you wanted to monitor stuff. So let's say you have a logic for bans. How would you add that? Well, in here, what we're doing is executing the cloud script. And this is the name, so ban hammer, but we changed it to, I think, let me see, what was it? If we go back, we always have to make sure that the call is accurate. So in here, the function is still ban hammer because I changed it back. I believe it because we went back, so we didn't save it. So that's a good thing we need to remember is what did we want it? New or ban function. Let's say we call it whatever we want. And in here we have this parameter ban report. So we save. Anytime you want to save, you hit that, because as you notice, I went away and this changed. But let's say we want this is the function. We're gonna go now in here. And we want to make sure this is exactly how it is over there. That's the first thing that you have to be aware of. The next is the generate play stream event. What does this do? This basically means that you can see this live, or if you want to look back in the records, you can see the event happening. So if you wanted to debug farther or see if it's happening, you say do the stream event, and you can see it live. So this is good if you ever want to have in here. I'll show you where it is on Playfab. There's two ways to at least, well, there's multiple ways, but this is how you would see it live. You go to title overview, I play stream. But the problem when you do this, and you can test it, you'll log in, it'll show the login, and when you ban someone or when you ban yourself, it will show that. So you have to have someone ban you, and then it'll pop up here. So you have to give the ban hammer or whatever it is, the logic, and then test it. Now, in here, the problem is that if your game is live, let's say you publish a free-to-play game or some kind of multiplayer game, this will populate super fast. And so the best way is to find the player that you want to check out. And in here, you can do play stream in here. And now I can see the same things as before. The only thing is it's only to this player. So only the events on this player. So if you wanted to test yourself while the game is live, this is a way to do that so that you don't have to kind of get overwhelmed. The other way is in here, you have a more data explorer. This is specifically to that player, but you can do a call for all the previous events in here, and it will run this, and it will show you like the last time these events were triggered. If you have the event streamed to true, it will be here, and you'll be able to see the logs or why it failed. And so that's another way to do it. You can do it in here for data if you wanted to do it for everybody, and you can say, hey, I want to see the event for all the players in between these two dates. You could do that. And if you like a video on it, let me know, and we can go into details on how all that works, because it's very specific. But then the other thing is in here in overview, you'll see the times that these things executed, and you can see the errors if there was ever an error. So this is where I first check the cloud script. So you'll create a cloud script, and in here, if your game is live, I typically monitor these, and if I have any errors, I double check to see which functions do. And then you can go and do different things to monitor that. And so this is a tip that I give because it's not covered in usual tutorials, because there's no need to do this. You can test it single player and stuff, but when you have a live game, all these things are happening live, and so these are crucial. And if you want to know more in detail, I can let you know, but that's why play stream event is super important in here, if you want to use it or not. I typically do it true. If I know I don't need to review it later, I just set it to false, and it's fine. But you got to remember that you won't see that if you set it to false. And here are the function parameters. And this is what gives you flexibility in all your cloud scripts, is that you have parameters that you can pass. And then this one is banned report. Here is what the argument is going to look like. And so it's very important, again, that this matches what you have on Playfab, so that it passes along the right values, because that will give you an error. And usually these are the first rookie mistakes, is the function name and the arguments don't line up. And then if you can't see it, it's because you didn't set this to true. Okay. And then when you're done, you can say, hey, cloud results. There's other things. You can even send messages from the cloud script depending on what happened. You can do that as well. In here, for example, we would have probably, if the total bans is greater than 2, we would have display why the game is aborting or quitting or shutting down. Because obviously this will feel like the game is going to shut down because the application quits. Like, oh, why did it quit? So it might be nicer to wait for a bit before quitting application. And this is how you handle that application quit. And then when they log in, you can go into and display the reasons. So it's always nice to have UI that connects and all that. But the main thing that I wanted to discuss in this video is like, how do I just do it? Okay, I need to test it. I need to know how it's done. You created a cloud script. The function name matches. You don't even need this. And just make sure if you delete this, I'm going to paste the code below so you have this. You got to make sure that the last function doesn't have a comma. That's the main thing, as you notice. Another gotcha. If you are like, why is it not working? I put everything there. No comma at the end. So just make sure these are to separate the arguments, and you don't need one at the end. Okay. I will put this in the comments below so you have it. You can copy paste it. It's super simple. This total bans is not needed at all, so I'm not going to put it in there. I just wanted to give you an idea of what you could do. So technically, I could be like this. This is like the minimum, right? Like I could do this and the ban works. I have a display message. You don't need that. But the idea is that I don't even need to quit the application. You can ban them, and then when they quit, they're banned, right? So or they try to join another session, you could do that. The main reason why I made this channel is because I want to help developers finish games. And there's a lot of questions that come up when you're trying to finish a game, when you publish a game, after publishing the game, when the game is live, and you need to change things, you need to debug, you need to figure out what's going on, and it's a mess. All these things that are not available when you're in an empty scene and you're the only player testing things. So that's why, if you have any questions, let me know. In the comments, like, subscribe. If you have specific questions, you want one-on-one help, I have Endgame Devs, my school community, where I help you solve these problems immediately. And so if you have a sense of urgency and you really want to get things done, the communities is what will help you the fastest. And so we'll see you in the next video.